Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we are looking at our gear totes that work with the Yakima GearLocker for the Yakima EXO System here at eTrailer. Now, an awesome thing about the Yakima EXO System is that it is designed to build up and out with all kinds of different attachments. So you can get a cargo carrier, a bike rack, a ski and snowboard carrier, really whatever you want, and just put them together to create the system you want for your adventures. These come in a set of 2 and they fit perfectly with your gear locker. You just put them right there and it fits lengthwise into your cargo carrier. You'll want to pick up these gear totes if you already have or are planning on getting the gear locker and you want something that gives you a little bit extra organization as well as makes it easier to carry around your gear. The tote is a strong box in itself, but you can also fold this flat. To do so, there's a zipper on the inside, so just unzip that right there and then it folds diagonally into a flat and easy to store item. With our gear tote here, let's take a look at what we can fill it up with. So you have a hook and loop divider on the inside. It's folded up against your gear tote, so you can use that to organize your tote and to figure out where you want to put things. Now let's start filling it up. I just put in there all the things that I would need for a quick day trip, and you can see how there's a lot of space left over to add other items. So I highly recommend keeping this inside your gear locker with maybe your first aid kits, your repair kits, your water, really those essential supplies you need to bring with you. This has a weight capacity of 50 pounds per tote. Note that your gear locker has a 100-pound weight capacity when you're on the road, so make sure to keep within that capacity all in all. Now let's take a look at the dimensions of the tote itself. On the inside, we have a length of 17.5 as well as a width of 13 inches. This divider can be moved from the middle point to this off-centered point where it will sit around 4.5 inches from the end. The walls are made of a sturdy material, so you don't have to worry about them bending or cracking as you carry items. This is covered in a nylon fabric with a polyurethane coating, which helps prevent scratches, and it's slightly water resistant. The handles are sewn into the tote, so you don't have to worry about accidentally ripping them off, even if you're carrying something heavy. I did have a conversation with some of my coworkers. If you have some questions, hopefully this will answer that. So we've been able to play around with all of the Yakima EXO System down here all week. We've been throwing things on the swing base, the top shelf. We've been mixing them around, loading them up, taking them off. It's a lot of different products, so I understand if you guys have any questions about how the system works, this is your time.
So these products will only work on the swing base, correct?
Yes, they will. The swing base is the core to this entire system, and nothing else will work if you do not have that swing base.
And what products do you have on there right now?
So right now, I have the swing base and on top of the swing base is our Gear Warrior, which is like a roof basket for your Hitch, and then we have the top shelf installed.
Which the Gear Warrior, you can actually throw on these little wheels, and we can actually make it into something that's portable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, could you carry 2 of the Gear Warriors? Could you carry one where it is now and then put another one up on top?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely can. So you can get, for the cargo carriers, you can carry 2 of them each. So the Gear Warrior is the cargo carrier, and the gear locker is the enclosed cargo carrier that looks like a box. So you can have both of those on there at the same time.
So both of those, or 2 of the Gear Warrior, or 2 of the locker, that you can like mix and match those, which is really nice.
And then do you have the bike rack?
Yes, I'll actually grab that bike rack real quick. So the thing about the bike rack is if you're going to be loading 2 things at the same time, the bike rack has to be by itself on top. All right, if it doesn't get caught on your pants, I guess. So like for the bike rack, if you do have bikes, obviously it's going to be pretty tall. But so if you have the Gear Warrior or the Gear Locker on the bottom, the bike rack goes on top.
And you couldn't put 2 bike racks on there.
No.
You can't.
There's not very much room.
For that, no. But yep. So that's how quick and easy it is just to toss something on top. And now you can carry 2 bikes as well as all of your equipment on the bottom.
Now, how about locks?
There's a lot of places to put lock cores on the system. I think the most I counted was 9 all at once. I think it was with the bike rack and the like the gear locker on the bottom.
It was the gear locker, yeah.
Yeah, because the swing base comes with 3 locks. So 1 for each of the knobs, and then there's a hitch pin. The top shelf comes with 3 locks. Again, for the knobs and the hitch pin to hold the top shelf. And then each of the items have their own spots for lock cores. Like the bike racks have 2 lock core spots, one on each arm, to lock each bike. So you can have at least 9 lock cores on your system at once.
And these don't come with the lock cores pre-installed. You have to add them separately?
Yes. So they come with a plastic end, and that's what you add the lock core to.
Right. But I mean, that way you could make sure that you have all of them the same key number so you can have them all keyed alike.
Yeah. So like here on our snowbank, we still kept the plastic lock core on there just so you can see what it looks like. So it will still function the exact same way. It just won't be able to be locked until you add a lock core.
Cool.
Now the swing base comes with 3 locks because that's an important part. I believe it comes with the locks.
Yep, it did whenever we were putting it together.
Yeah, because that's what you need to use the knob.
So lock cores are definitely a big one. It's almost like if you're getting one of the kit systems, you'd almost want to just have those bought already.
I think the best thing to do is once you get the swing base, also get like 8 locks in anticipation of your future accessories.
Yeah, because we were talking about it with some of our other coworkers, and it would be a pain if you got like almost everything that the EXO system can give you, and then you have like 7 or 8 keys that you have to go through and figure out which ones are which. It wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, it'd be better to get them all at once and then just have one key that works for all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then just add them as you go.
Yeah. So the hitch lock comes with the swing base, and the knobs on the swing base come with locks, but everything else is separate.
Everything else is separate. Some of them come with like little lock cores with them, but they're not keyed alike with the rest.
Right.
So
it's better to buy a pack, like you said, of 8 and then just make sure they're all the same.
yeah, because right now, like this top shelf is going to have a different key from the bottom swing base, and then the actual like bike locks are going to have different keys. So that's already 3 keys that you have to, keep track of. And that's only, a full setup.
Right.
Of like this is one of the kits, correct?
Yes. So and if you switch it out with the snowbank, or you switch this one with another gear locker, those also have different locks. So in anticipation of how many accessories you have, try to think about lock cores as well.
Good idea.
Is the weight capacity the same for the upper tier as it is the lower tier?
No, and that's what you're gonna have to be super sure of. Well, not sure of, but check before you load things up. Like here we have the Gear Warrior, and it has the highest possible weight capacity, which is 250 pounds, if it's installed alone on the swing base. But once you install the top shelf, anything on the bottom has a slightly less weight capacity. And if you put this Gear Warrior on this top shelf, it will have a weight capacity of 80 pounds. So it's a big difference depending on where you mount it.
That is a big difference.
Yeah, that is a big difference. And I bet that's mostly to do with the hitch itself rather than the actual component weight capacities.
Yes, all because it's further away from the hitch. Like
Right.
with any extender we have the weight capacity. So also the top shelf can be pushed out if you're worried about clearance for your back. So I believe that would also be why they have a lower base weight capacity.
Yeah, the further away you get from the receiver hitch, the more pressure there is on, torque.
But yeah.
It's more physics.
Yeah.
There's more physics involved.
Yeah.
Now, much like a lot of bike racks will fold up so you can pull into a garage or whatnot, is there any kind of fold up option for this, or do you have to remove it from your hitch if you're in a tight spot?
Yes, you'd have to, well, yeah.
So
You'd have to remove it. It swings away, which is it's, compromised for not being able to tilt away or fold up. But yes.
the closest thing you could get to like folding it is taking almost everything off. Like you can take off your equipment and you can take off the top, and then the two bottom arms fold in. That's about the closest thing that you would get to it, but it's not like you can fold it any other way. And you still got a good amount sticking out, but at least those two Yakima arms are going to slide in against the base.
Did we get a measurement on that when you just how far out from the hitch pin hole it sticks when those arms are folded in? Because I can almost guarantee you someone's going to ask.
We had on that, we did some test fits on it and we did those.
So I measured from like hitch pin hole and it was like about 19, 20 inches. I'm not sure. It's definitely in the demo videos for that. I also did some test fits on the RAV4 and on a truck, kind of like to see the difference for that. But mainly that length added was also with the arms extended, because if they went back to their garage with their equipment, I usually measured for this load warrior sticks a little bit further out, so the total length that is at about 34 inches.
Okay, so like minimum with nothing on it and the arms folded in is about 20, but maximum is about 30 something inches.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Can you remove the bike rack and put on the ski rack real quick?
I can. One thing though about the top shelf is that it does add a little bit to where it feels slightly heavier, but yes, I can. So first you just have to lock it like that, where it's open, then lift your bike rack off. Then I'll find somewhere to put this. And then the snow bank comes in two parts. So here's one that just slides into those tracks. Then we'll tighten those cleats down on that. And then lock that tab into place. That secures it. Then here's the second one. So the tabs only turn when it's fully tightened down. That lets you know it's fully tightened down. And that's it. Ready to move.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, well, glad we could answer some of your questions on the EXO system. It's definitely an interesting one. We've messed around with it for what, like last 3 days, 4 days?
4 days, yes. It's definitely something for people who've already filled up their roof rack or can't get a roof rack. So they're looking into this because this is a roof basket, but on my hitch, or a roof box on my hitch, plus a ski and snowboard carrier. So I do see people that are thinking of whether to get a trailer or this as an option, as a comparison.
Yep. And I would definitely say that if somebody's wanting to buy this, they're going to want to be able to get as many of the pieces as possible. This doesn't seem like something you would want to be like, oh, I'm just getting this for skis or for a bike. Like this is something like, oh, I need room for my skis, my bikes, and then maybe I'm going to go just camping and I need 2 cargo carriers for the week or something like that.
Sure, that makes sense.
That was my one question is, after our conversation this morning, that is this a bike rack? Like if you were just going to get the bike rack, is it really that comparable to other swing away bike racks, or is this kind of more trouble than it's worth?
It's
You know what I mean?
definitely good, but like it's like, having a piece of like a massive puzzle. It's like you just don't want that specific piece if you can't fill out the rest of it.
Yeah, I think the beauty of it is how fast it is to mix and match. Like I have not been able to install a bike rack as fast as I was to do this, like any other hitch mounted bike rack. So that base is what creates the speed. And the beauty of it is that mix and match modular ability. So at its price point, let's say just a bike rack on the swing base, I do not think is as effective as a bike rack created just for your hitch. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's what I was wondering. So I just, after you guys have been able to think about it a little bit more, or reflect how it compares to other swing away bike racks. So I think if anybody were to stumble upon it in that bike rack category, that's good to know that it's like, yeah, you can buy this just as a bike rack, but there are better options if that's all you want. And this is really more for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope that answered all of your questions about the system. There's a lot of components.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
No
Thank you
problem.
very much.
Let me know if you have any other questions. Otherwise.
Sure.
Will do.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
My final thoughts about the totes is that while I can very easily just store my gear as is inside my gear locker, it is nice to have them organized, and I can definitely see this as an option for people who want to put different items in different containers. This could be your camping tote, that could be your sleep item tote, etc., etc. It's really up to you to how you use this, but as a tote in itself, I think it really works well because it's sturdy but also very easy to move around and fold up. And that was a look here at our gear totes for the gear locker on the Yakima EXO system here at eTrailer.